Hey, hey, hey. So, today we're gonna be reading Luna Eats an Oreo by Ezio. Like from Assassin's Creed. And there's an Assassin's Creed pony. Or Pony's Creed. Wait, Pony's Creed? That'd be a creed of ponies, not an assassin. Whatever. I'm not talking about that right now. The culinary confection of black and white sat in front of Luna. It stared at her, and she stared right back. Next to it sat a roll of parchment, upon which was written, in her sister's neat horn writing, "Dear sister, I had one of these brought to you upon my request. It is called an Oreo sandwich cookie. Please enjoy." Luna didn't know what an Oreo was, nor what a sandwich was, or even a cookie. All she knew was that this strange, monochromatic thing was trying to intimidate her. She leaned in closer to it, never blinking, never averting her gaze. She would win this contest of will, even if it took her all eternity. Several hours passed. Luna did not feel even the slightest urge to blink. She considered this new foe a worthy opponent, with a mind as steady and calm as her own. So that's how she waited on the moon for so long. Suddenly, a soft pop shattered her calm and steady mind. She jumped abruptly, knocking on the table, and Oreo flying. A scroll floated in front of her. She used her magical, mystical, mysterious alicorn powers to unroll it, revealing another note from Celestia. "Sister, you're supposed to eat it." This changed everything! The strange object lying across the room was not a foe, but a food! What joyous news! What joyous news! Luna searched the floor for the morsel. She now regretted her previous decision to have the floor redone in an overlapping, circular, black and white pattern. After half an hour, and several failed attempts to consume the camouflaged snack, she accidentally skewered the cookie with the tip of her horn, and, in a 1 in a million chances, left it intact. Using her magic, she levitated the bit of food off her horn and gently, oh so gently, placed it in her mouth, and began to chew. To this day, she cannot completely recall what happened next. One minute she was sitting in her room, eyes as wide as saucers, as she experienced for the first time the sweet, creamy hint of chocolate deliciousness that is an Oreo sandwich cookie. The next, she was in another world, a world where rivers of Oreo cream ran white against a roughly textured black cookie landscape. The lakes were filled with milk, and the birds flying overhead were not bullet birds at all, but large Oreos with wings. There was no sun nor moon. The sky was pure white. She had entered a deliciously monochromatic landscape, and she loved it. Suddenly, a voice from behind her caused Luna to turn around, only to find her sister standing there. "So," Celestia said, smiling, "you've discovered the land of milk and cookies. A splendid place, is it not?" Luna could not speak. All she could muster was, what? Where? Nom 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 nom. She could no longer resist. She began to dig at the ground beneath her, devouring everything she uncovered. She eventually dug so deep the ground gave way beneath her, and she found herself falling into a seemingly endless abyss. Finally, she landed in what she had originally assumed was milk, only to find, after falling in it, that it was in fact more cream. This time it was warm, almost hot. She began inhaling the stuff, letting the cream flow down her esophagus. Relishing the sweet taste and creamy texture, she dove under, farther. Something was wrong. Her lungs were burning. She needed air. Luna could no longer tell which way was up. The whiteness turned to blackness, and she knew no more. Beep, 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 beep. Darkness. Beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep. Her heart rate is escalating. She's coming out of the sugar coma. She opened her eyes and surveyed the room around her. It was her room, turned into a makeshift hospital room. An IV was hooked up to her right foreleg, while a heartbeat monitor showed her heart rate. 2 ponies, male and female, dressed in identical white doctor's clothing and masks, stood to either side of her. "We found you in here, on the floor twitching," said the male doctor. "We knew the symptoms immediately." First time eating an Oreo syndrome. It's hard because the end of first and the beginning of time are both T's, and the end of eat and the end of time and the beginning of eating are both e's. So I was like, first time, or yeah. Your eyes were glazed and your pupils were dilated to almost an impossible size. You were making motions with your legs, like that of a swimmer. Blech! She realized. She also had a tube down her throat. After the uncomfortable sensation of the tube being removed by the doctors, she asked, "Does my sister know?" "Yes," said the female nurse, "but no one else does. We've managed to keep it a secret. We wanted to keep this quiet as possible. When the moon didn't rise on time, the princess knew something was wrong. She went to investigate and found you like you were, and summoned us. She assumed you'd choked. Even in her infinite wisdom, Princess Celestia's knowledge of the medical field is somewhat limited." She glanced nervously at the door, as if worried that Celestia had heard. "We still haven't told her what the real problem was." "Don't," Luna said. "She doesn't like to find out that she was wrong about anything." She remembered the horrible experience of Luna telling Celestia that not every game console was called a Nintendo. Every piece of gaming technology in the vicinity had immediately been disintegrated. Celestia had smiled and said, "Thank you for informing me of this," and then had walked away. Several weeks passed without incident. Luna stayed away from Oreos as much as she could, pitching the few that Celestia occasionally sent her into the garbage. Finally, one day, while drinking her daily tea, she heard a soft pop behind her. A scroll had appeared, along with a small platter of Oreos. Abnormally thick Oreos, she noted. Unrolling the scroll, she read, "Sister, I've made a remarkable new discovery. These are called double stuff Oreos. Please enjoy." Double stuff? She thought for a moment. The cream has been doubled! Luna couldn't resist. Grabbing one of the cookies with her magic, she slowly floated it towards her, placed it in her mouth, and began to chew. Oh, that's the end? Oh, no, right, there's an epilogue. I was like, what? Epilogue. Discord. Being trapped in a stone prison could be so boring. Sure, there were obvious benefits of having ponies come by and stare at you and try to climb on you, and the pigeons who thought it was their moral duty to drop every bit of dung they could on your head, but other than that, it wasn't very fun. Discord stood still as a statue, which was easy since he was one, counting the leaves on the trees, watching them rustle in the wind, thinking how much more entertaining it would be if they, and the rest of Equestria, were all on fire. The worst part of being stoned all the time was that the tiny rays of hope that would occasionally break through the darkness of his prison, hope that came in the form of tiny signals consisting of pure chaos, signals that came from fights, or small angry mobs, or cow stampedes, or Twilight Sparkle losing one of her books. He was experiencing one of those now, actually. He strained his ears, as he liked to call them, his chaos receptors, to try to pinpoint the source of the ripple in the chaos. It seemed to be coming from... No. It couldn't be. Princess Luna? Suddenly, a surge of raw chaos surged through him and his stone entrapment, a surge so powerful that the rock cracked. A small fissure appeared along the top of his snout. It spread quickly, covering his immobile body. Finally, with a great booming noise and a laugh so evil that Celestia herself got the shivers down her spine, miles and miles away, Discord emerged, breathing in the fresh air. He felt more alive than he'd been in years. Not wanting to waste any time, he vanished in a small pop, appearing moments later outside the royal palace in Canterlot Palace. In the time between his appearance and his reappearance, he had some time to ponder over what the hey Luna possibly could have done that had created a ripple strong enough to shatter his prison. But despite his vast knowledge of all things good and chaotic, he was truly stumped. His answer came moments later, in the form of a small black and white cookie. And that's the end. Both chapters ended at really odd parts. Ooh. Astrio. Oh, it's Australia, but it's Austriao. Rainbow Dash flies east. That's literally the entire description, but it's 120,000 words, which is odd. What? Oh, there's some weird stuff here on the interwebs. Oh my god! Oh, there's this... That's... an interesting picture of Rule 63, Spike. My sister's right next to me, but she has headphones on, so she can't hear anything. See, now she's tripping balls because she assumes anything I say.
Talking about Discord.
Yeah.
And him being in a hospital bed or something, and something about breaking his stone spell. Hello, whoever that is.
Oh my God.
I'm the person who apparently thinks I'm a boy.
What are you talking about? You are a boy.
No, I'm not.
Sure. Sure.
You see this figure up my nose?
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut out all the parts where you say you're not a boy.